First of all, thank you guys again for joining us for today's meeting. It's actually our first official event of the semester, so congratulations and welcome you all to X Culture Academy. So let's start the presentation. And for today, the agenda will be a welcome from Dr. Vaz. Next, former X Culture students will share their experience. We'll talk about the coaching program, X Culture Academy events that we have throughout the semester, one trivia game to test some culture and business knowledge, X Culture orientation by Dr. Vaz. He will explain everything that you're going to do throughout the semester, and we will close the agenda. For today's event, we will plan to have 1 hour and 30 minutes of this meeting, okay? So let's start. Can you start, Dr. Vaz?
I'll go ahead. And so I would like to welcome you by telling you about X Culture, sort of what it is and where we came from, so that you know sort of what you gotten yourself into. And that will also explain to you what we are trying to do here. So originally, X Culture was designed to be for MBA students, so for graduate students of business at universities around the world. So I teach international business. Many of my colleagues teach international business. And we often found ourselves in situations where we would be trying to explain to the students how international business works, and feeling or seeing that students sometimes don't fully comprehend what we are telling them. I often had a feeling that I'm trying to teach people how to swim on a football field. You know, you can tell people as much as you want that water is wet, and that once you get in the water, you will float or you will sink. And, you know, you can show them movies about the water. You can ask them read books about the water. You can give them lectures about the water. You can invite guest speakers, maybe the best swimmers ever. But unless they get in the water, they will not learn to swim. And it's the same thing with international business. So I would be explaining to my students that doing business with Ukrainians is different than doing business with Americans, and that the laws and the traditions and the culture and all kinds of challenges in different countries are different. And the students sort of believe me, but don't really understand it. And so about 12 years ago, in 2010, 11 years ago, I had the idea that maybe it would help if I could find another professor at another university in another country who also teaches international business. And so my students and that professor's students could work together. And by doing so, they would experience cultural differences. They would experience maybe time zone differences, language differences. And so when I tell in my class that doing business, for example, with, I don't know, Ukrainians is different, they actually have worked with Ukrainians and they sort of have that experience. And so one day I just didn't know how to find those professors. So I just simply sent an email through the Academy of International Business. It's our sort of big professional association. And literally said, if you teach international business, maybe we can pool our sort of resources, put our students in international teams. Let me know, we will give it a try. And to my surprise, quite a few people replied literally within minutes. And so the first time we did it, we had 7 countries, 7 universities. And by the way, all those professors are still participating, so I'm very happy. So they seem to like it. So they participate again and again and again. And then kind of wonderful things started happening. So next semester, twice as many people applied. I think we had 14 countries the next time, and then more and more and more. So last semester, we had about 6,000 students, something like 180 universities, something like 45 countries by the location of the university, and 76 countries, if I remember correctly, by the location of the students. And then all kinds of new things happened. Like, for example, the first year we did it, the students worked on a hypothetical case study. So we just gave them some sort of a problem to work on. But then in 2013, one of our professors was doing a consulting project with Mercedes-Benz, the division of the company that makes buses and trucks. And so they were trying to come up with some sort of marketing campaign for those trucks and buses. And the professor said, we have X Culture students. Maybe we can ask them for ideas, maybe cool slogans, or maybe some interesting advertisement ideas. And so they called me and said, we would like your students to work on this challenge. And I thought this is a great idea. It will make the students sort of experience much more practical, much more real. And so we participated with, at that time, must have been about 1,000 students. We were not as big at that time as we are now. And so it worked very well. So Mercedes was happy. The students were happy. In fact, they even invited 33, I believe, best of our students to come to their factory. We saw how they make those buses and trucks. We met with the management. We did the presentations. So it was a good experience. And ever since, we invite a bunch of companies that present their real life challenges. So things that they need help with. And our students, you essentially serve as business consultants. So you basically are, the helpers, the consultants, the advisors, the interns, if you want to call yourself that way. And you spend that semester not only learning about other cultures, working with people from different countries, but you also solve a business problem. And so what we do now is we form teams, usually about 7 people per team, each one from a different country. So you will not only learn how it is different for, let's say, Ukrainians or Indians or, I don't know, Brazilians, but there will be quite a few countries on your team. And then obviously meetings like this, you will see dozens and dozens of different countries. So you have that international experience, but you also get the business experience. And when it comes to international experience, some people say, hey, it's not real international experience because you don't really go to that country. That is true. If you go to a different country, you sort of, see around you, different buildings, or maybe you try their food. But I would say that what we offer is actually more important for work. Because yes, you can see what the architecture looks like in, for example, Italy or Brazil. You can maybe try some Ukrainian vareniki and like them. But for business, you need to know how to work with those people. You need to know how they are on business projects, how they negotiate, how they interact, how they manage things. And so you can visit Ukraine, for example, my native country, 25 times. You can eat all vareniki you want, but you will not know what it is like to work with Ukrainians, for example, or Japanese, or Italians, or Americans for that matter. But in Xculture, even though you don't really go to the country right away, but you do interact with those people, you have to negotiate with them. You have to make decisions together. You have to solve problems together. Sorry. And so in Xculture, even though you don't have the travel element, at least in the first phase, you do learn more about culture, I would argue, than by simply visiting the country as a tourist. And then all kinds of other things also happened, like, for example, the Xculture Symposium. So I already mentioned the Xculture, the Academy of International Business. So it's a big association with thousands of professors around the world who teach and research international business. And so we go to those conferences every year to present our research. And so at some point, we started taking our Xculture students with us. So some of them wrote very good reports, proposals for companies, and we thought it would be nice to present them to a larger academic community. And so at some point, there were so many students coming with us that the Academy of International Business said, hey, maybe let's have like a separate track for the students so that there is a more formal program. And I think the first one we had was in 2013 in Miami, in Fort Lauderdale, in Florida. And so we would bring more and more of those students. And then at some point, there were so many of them that the Academy of International Business said, well, maybe we should limit it at some number, because if all of your students come to the symposium, then the academic conference for professors will become a conference for students, because there will be more students than professors. And so at that time we thought, hey, but we have so many students who participate in Xculture and they would like to participate in these face-to-face meetings. They want to meet their team, they want to meet their clients, they want to do all kinds of things that we do at those conferences, visit companies, meet with the entrepreneurs, with the community leaders, with the politicians sometimes, do some sightseeing. And so our wonderful Dr. Baumanis came along and said, hey, maybe I can organize an additional meeting only for Xculture students. And so the very first one we had was in Miami in 2017, I believe, or 2016. And so that one was only for Xculture students right before the Academy of International Business Conference, like a separate week-long event. We call it the Xculture Business Week. And so that went very well. We had 150 students, and then we had something like 50 professors. And then after that, we did another one in Italy, and then we did another one in Canada. And then we were planning to do another one in Singapore when COVID struck, so we had to put it on hold. So we will return probably back next year. So while Xculture, the main program that you are about to start, is online, There will be a follow-up phase where the best of you will be invited for a face-to-face meeting. And so at this time, we don't know where it will be. We have several suggestions. So we will see probably somewhere, possibly even on a cruise ship. So maybe we will even go to multiple countries during that event. So, and then obviously you guys, the Xculture Academy. So as we were delivering this program for the university students, we had two distinct additional groups of people who really wanted to participate in Xculture. One, we call them professionals. So non-student adults who think that Xculture would be a good thing for them to have. So they seek that international experience either for self-development, or in many cases, they are planning to maybe apply for a new job or maybe for a new promotion. And so they thought if they had the experience of working with people from different countries, solving real life problems for real life companies, they would make a better impression on the future employers or maybe managers, and they would get that position that they want. And so we started getting a lot of inquiries from people, all kinds of ages, 20, 30, 40, 50 even, saying, hey, I would like to participate in your project. I've heard about it from my friend or maybe from my colleague at work who is taking courses at a university. And so I know it's for university students, but I'm not a student. Can I still participate? And so we thought, okay, sure, let's do that. And so we have a separate track, we call it for professionals. And so usually people with some experience, sometimes with a lot of experience, but perhaps who didn't have that international experience and business consulting experience. And so they participate in this professionals track. And then at the same time, we have all those hundreds of professors, and most of us have kids. Like I have kids, most of my colleagues have kids. And so I started getting a lot of emails from professors who say, hey, can my son participate, or can my daughter participate? Very smart, 16-years old, will be going to college next year, top of the class, goes to a private school, all good grades, speaks English. Can she please participate? And we said first, no. I mean, this is for university students. Our participants are older. They are, 20 something, even sometimes 30 something. And so how can we put those, younger kids in teams with adult students from top universities? But then at some point, there were so many inquiries that we thought, hey, you know what? Maybe let's create a separate track specifically for teenagers and see how it works. And so the first time we did it, we had something like 40 students. Pretty much all of them were children of professors. My own kids participated. I wanted to see how it looks. And actually, it went very, very well. So there were several things that I did not expect that happened. Like, for example, I thought my students would, or my kids would struggle with maybe like cultural differences, or maybe they would struggle with the business component. But they also struggled with simple things like, for example, how to write an email. Turns out that most teenagers don't have to write emails. So in most cases, they just text, short messages. But when you do business together, you have to explain a lot of things. You have to write like lengthy letters. Or in many cases, they didn't know, for example, how to co-edit a document together. So there are 7 people on the team. Everybody has to write the document together. How do you do it? And so I had to teach them how to use, for example, Google Docs, where multiple people can write the same document. I had to teach them about the tools that allow you to check the time zone differences so that you know that, for example, Germany is 6 hours ahead of me. Brazil is 1 hour ahead of me. California is 3 hours behind me. Japan is 12 hours ahead of me. So, and they were like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, that helps us. And so over time, actually, they developed very close friendships. And again, it was all about business and learning. But I noticed my kids spent a lot of time spending, simply just basically hanging out with their team members, talking about school, talking about music, talking about maybe video games. So I thought that was very good. And so now we decided to open it for teenagers as well. And so this semester we have something like 1,000 applications. Now, obviously, we will not take everyone just because they applied. So we would like everyone to be prepared. We want to make sure that everyone is conversational in English. Everybody is diligent, responsible. You don't want to have slackers in your team, right? So nobody wants that. So there will be a preparation phase or theory training phase. During this time, you will learn how to work with people from different cultures. You will learn about Xculture project itself, a little bit about business consulting, and there will be 4 tests that I will talk more about later on. But we want to make sure that you are not only smart, but also you are responsible, you are diligent. We can rely on you to come and participate week after week after week. It's a long project. It takes some discipline and perseverance to succeed. But yes, we've heard many, many very good stories from students, both at the university level, but also from teenagers. We have many people who get jobs because of Xculture. So they would tell us a story like this. Hey, professor, you probably don't remember me, but I took your course 5 years ago, or 3 years ago. And so today I was applying for a job. And so I come for this job interview, and there are like 20 other people waiting in that room to be interviewed. And I think, oh, I have no hope. I'm just like everybody else. I have some good grades. I have some, I don't know, some summer job, but really nothing special. So I walk into that interview room, and my interviewer, employer, I'm like 25th person for the day that he's interviewing. So she's falling asleep and she's not interested. And I'm telling about my achievements, and she's like not interested. And then I remember about Xculture, and I said, hey, I actually completed this cool project. Here is my certificate. And so I worked with people from like 7 or 8 different countries, and I completed a project for a real company. And so this is what we came up with. And she wakes up and like, oh, tell me more. So you work with people like from all different continents. Cool. And so how was it? And before I knew it, I got the job. So thank you so much, professor. Same thing with the students, teenagers. They say I was applying for a stipend or applying to a college. And so again, I'm just like everybody else. I just went to school, did all the homework, and got good grades, nothing else. But then I mentioned my Xculture experience, and they're like, oh, this is cool. You have some business experience, you have some international experience. This is interesting. And before I knew it, I was accepted to the school. So I'll conclude with a story that I always tell about 2 men from Canada. And somebody said it's a horrible story, but I think it illustrates what we're trying to do here. So the truth is, when you're done with Xculture, well, let me tell you the story first, and then I will tell what the truth is. So the story goes like this. Canada, early spring, the snow started melting, very thick, dense forest, and 2 men are walking through that forest. And all of a sudden, they stumble upon a bear who just woke up from the winter hibernation, and the bear is hungry and angry. And so the bear sees these 2 men, and he thinks, oh, they look like lunch. And so he starts chasing those men, and the 2 men start running away, and they're running. And then the bear is closing and getting closer and closer. And one man says, hey, why are we running? The bear is faster than people. There is no way we can outrun a bear. And so maybe we should just give up. And the other man says, I don't have to be faster than the bear. I just have to be faster than you. And so that's the same kind of moral with Xculture. Yes, the truth is, after you complete these few months of training, you will not become the best international business expert in the world. You will learn a lot, but you will not know everything. But the point here is, you don't have to be the best of the best of the best, better than Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg or whoever, Mark Cuban or whoever else is now the best business guru. All you need is to be a little bit better than your peers, so that when you apply for that scholarship, or when you apply to that college, or when you apply for that job, you want to be a little bit better than your competition. So yes, maybe you will not be a world-class expert quite yet, although if you complete enough of these programs, obviously you will be. But here, even if you will not be, top of the line, at least you will have something that others don't have. You will have this international experience. You will have this business experience. You will have these connections. You will have these reference letters, and that's perhaps what will make a difference for you and will get the job scholarship or investment to you. So good luck to you guys, and I'll turn it back to Rafael, and we'll talk more about the technical stuff later.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Vaz. For now, we will, well, let me share my screen again. So we will have the Xculture experience. So I asked Emily to come up and help us with this speech. Hello, Emily.
Hi, everybody. So welcome to Xculture. I messed up on our video, so we have to actually pause it because it's just going to go through automatically. Because so
Can you share your screen?
yes.
Okay.
Hold on a moment. Can you see it?
Yes. And while we're waiting for the presentation to start, I see we have a lot of technical questions, good questions about exams, about the surveys, about the stipends. We will talk about that when they give the chance for me to talk again. So don't worry, we'll answer all those questions. I love your graphics, Emily. So this is nice pictures. It doesn't look like PowerPoint. That's something else, right?
Yeah, it's Canva.
Yeah, I need to learn how to use it. It looks way better than PowerPoints.
I like it.
One of the skills that I still need to acquire, and I know the Xculture students, you train them how to use these fancy schmancy tools. Maybe I should attempt one of those webinars and learn for myself to impress my students.
Yeah, I learned Canva through Xculture actually.
Well, it makes a huge difference when you present your work to the client. In many cases, just like Shark Tank, it's not only about the product, it's not only the idea, but also the presentation matters. And so for the students, I encourage you to learn how to present your ideas. So sometimes, fancy schmancy graphics matters as much as the actual idea you're trying to pitch.
So without further ado, hi everyone, welcome to Xculture. We're really excited to work with you. My name's Emily. I'm one of the senior coaches for the Academy. I actually started as a university student and I did that back in 2018, and I went to the Global Symposium in Calgary in 2019. So I got to live the bear story with Dr. Voss because we ran into a grizzly bear. And this hoodie I'm wearing is actually, we did fundraising at my school to pay for the trip.
That was such a good idea. That was, I still have that pullover also. And that's the creativity and ingenuity that we seek. So that's what, what makes Xculture students so special.
Yeah, it was the best week of my life. And I hope that all of you guys are able to participate in one eventually. So Xculture, in my experience, is truly an odyssey. When you complete this, you will not be the same person you were when you started. You're going to have a team that you will hopefully adore and stay friends with for a long time, but at the very least, you're going to have a truly impressive report that you're going to be able to reference for years and years to come, as Dr. Voss said. And individually, you're going to become so much stronger than you ever thought possible. You're going to be falling back on this for the rest of your life. I've gotten job offers because of this, and I know so many others have too. So I was working with Nujit and Scavenger, and we came up with a video from a few former students and coaches about their experiences with Xculture. So this will cover what people have learned and a few tips that people wish they had known when they first started. So I'm now going to pass this over to Nujit, and she will continue.
Oh, thanks, Emily. Greetings, everyone. I am Nujat from Dhaka, Bangladesh. So first of all, congratulations on your enrollment. So basically, I've started my journey with Xculture exactly 1 year ago as a student. In 2020. I'm from my academic background is science, so I knew nothing about business till the Xculture thing. And after my participation, I have found it very effective for my growth. That the next semester, I applied for the coaching program, and this is my second semester as a coach. In this 1 year, I have figured out so many outcomes of my journey that I would like to share with you all, and you guys will also experience it very soon. So the first one is communication skill. It improved my communication skills, breaking the language barriers, shyness, and discomfort. We know that it is very important how we deal with other people, and the ability of adapting a new circumstance with people in a professional and formal way is emotional intelligence. It also improved me in this sector, and that is going to help me throughout my whole life. The next one is timing. Working with people from several time zones taught me how to convert my time to others and theirs to mine. Besides that, I also learned how to manage my time for my work alongside with my study and daily stuff. Furthermore, it helped me to be a productive person by overwhelming things such as creative thinking and writing, exploring innovative stuff, and being a bit of a tech expert. In the same way, it increased my flexibility really quickly. I've learned handling workloads, setting deadlines, and getting my work done beforehand, and also doing multiple tasks. Although it actually improved my entire growth both internally and externally. Always try to see and take good things even from the unpleasant one. That's how it helped me to grow in my journey. To sum up, the best outcome of my learning, I'm going to say, is the experience I have shared with so many people, which I can always cherish in my heart. It is the actually best part of my journey. Thanks, everyone. Now, my fellow coach Subigya will continue.
Hi, thank you so much, Nujat. And hi, everyone. My name is Subikya Baral from Kathmandu, Nepal. I'm 17 years old and I first joined X Culture at August 2020, so exactly a year ago today. And this is my second semester of being a coach. Firstly, I'd like to congratulate all of you again for taking actions to transformation. X Culture is a transformative experience that will challenge you in every way possible. I will be sharing advice that I wished I had received before starting my semester and journey with X Culture. So next slide, please, Emily. So the first one is figuring out the time zone. Figuring out the time zone and a time such that everybody is able to take the meeting was by far the most challenging. Since my team members were from all over the world, some were 10 hours before me and some were 12 hours ahead of me. When I was ready to take the meeting, some were asleep, and when others were ready to take the meeting, I was asleep. However, there's a solution to this. Using apps like Doodle makes it very easy and convenient to find a time that works for everyone. The second one is use a plagiarism checker. X Culture is non-tolerant towards plagiarism. It supports and encourages originality and authenticity. Plagiarism can have several consequences, so using a reliable and accurate plagiarism checker can be very useful. There are many free websites on the internet offering accurate plagiarism check, but some of the notable ones are Grammarly. The third one is set rules. Setting ground rules early on can help prevent many misunderstandings. Some examples of this might be fixing a time that works for everyone and always having meeting at that time, helping each other's but not rewriting, or knowing who will present the screen and compile all the documents. This helped me and my friends to have a sense of responsibility and made us leader at international setting. The fourth one is step back. We know that at times working internationally and dealing with different time zones or something all by yourself can be very hard. We advise you to step back and relax. You might not be able to finish the work as allotted by team members because a major exam is coming soon. That is completely fine. Make sure to have clear communication with your team members and coach transparently. And the fifth one is supporting new ideas. The essence of X Culture is diversity, fostering intercultural understanding and harnessing the power of togetherness. Since there are people from all over the world working on the same goal, not everyone might have the same thought or might have a unique idea. We have to listen to them and their ideas. We must understand where they're coming from and try to be accommodating to everyone. Please feel free to reach out to us for any questions. We're more than happy to help all of you. And at last, we have compiled videos of former X Culture students and coaches about their experience. So hope you enjoy. Thank you.
I think there's no sound. I think you need to share again.
Sorry about that.
I like those northern lights, though. That's a,
Sharing sound. Take two.
No, you need to close and start share again. And there's an option to share with sound.
I am senior coach and a client expert.
There you go.
It's still not.
It's working, it's working.
Okay.
So when I first joined this program, I really enjoyed the fact that I was able to connect with people from different backgrounds and to create long-lasting relationships with them. That's why I became a coach. And I really hope to form new forms of friendship with all of you guys during this period.
Hello there, my name is Selma Barouk and I'm a rising senior from Morocco. My experience with X-Culture Academy took place in year 2020. I was put in an international team where all of us were leaders. We split tasks and discussed our work in weekly meetings. While expanding my knowledge about business, I learned a lot of other things. I learned how to be open-minded and how to be accepting. I learned how to be serious, but also have fun with my teammates. Of course, there were a lot of challenges that we had to overcome. The hardest ones were the time zone and the cultural differences. All of us had work and all of us had ideas. So throughout that, I learned how to listen and how to be patient. The best part about X-Culture Academy was to make great friends and also gain a lot of good qualities.
Hi everyone, my name is Tejas Chakrabarti and I'm going to talk to you about one thing that I really love about X-Culture and one thing that has been the most challenging. So other than the fact that I have met some of my closest friends, if not my closest friends ever, because of this program, I think the thing that I love the most about this program is the doors that it has opened for me. I am not actually a student of business, I am more into science. But it is because of X-Culture I've gotten interested in the fields of social entrepreneurship. I have become much better at my research and my academics. So that is one thing that I'm always thankful of for this program. Other than that, I would say that the biggest challenge that I might have faced over the course of this entire program definitely has to be the sheer variety of work, because it always pushes you to do things that you haven't done before. And that's also one of the reasons why I keep coming back, because it's because of the way that this program is structured, I discover new things about myself and newer strengths and weaknesses.
Hello everyone, this is Pammi Jha from India, an ex-culture student from the session 2021, that is from January to May. The most challenging part for me in the entire X-Culture event was to manage the time zones, because everyone present in my team had some kind of online classes as well as internships. And in the beginning, I myself was confused among CST, EST, and IST, but this didn't hinder any of our project. We were able to deliver our task on time, and the session was fun filled and I enjoyed a lot, and I truly learned something productive, which I think will help in my career ahead. Thank you, X-Culture.
Right. And then I have our contact information if anyone ever wants to get in touch with us. And then with that, I will turn it back over to Raphael and we will continue the rest of the presentation. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Nusha and Subigya, for this awesome presentation. So let's continue.
Thank you for sharing the experiences. Yeah.
Now we will talk about the coaching program and how they are going to help you throughout the semester. Okay. So the coaching program, coaches are former X-Culture students, so they will help you and guide you to solve conflicts, doubts, and everything toward this semester. Okay. So,
Raphael, maybe if you give me just 1 minute, I want to share where the coaches sort of came from.
sure.
So when we started doing X-Culture, an interesting thing happened. we started noticing that some students participated in X-Culture again and again and again and again. So we had this student, for example, from Austria, Heinrich Feiken, who participated in X-Culture something like 4 times in a row. And normally we don't mind. I mean, if he wants to, why not? But I started kind of getting curious, like, why in the world would someone want to do it so many times? So I reached out to a couple of those students, asking them, so why are you doing it? And they say, oh, I just love it. I mean, it's interesting. I meet new people each time. I just want to do it again. And then we thought, oh, well, if we have these wonderful students who want to do it again, maybe instead of them being members of yet another team, maybe we can ask them to be sort of coaches for the new generation of X-Culture students. Maybe they could share their own experiences with the new generation of X-Culture students. And so the first time we did it, we had, I think, 7 coaches, and actually it worked well. So they did provide help with, if there is a conflict in the team, or maybe if there is a question, or if the team wants some feedback, the coaches could help. And then we thought, hey, you know what, maybe more students want to be coaches. And so we allowed students to apply to be coaches. And then we instituted a 4-week training for them. So it's not just someone who participated in the past, but it's someone who participated in the past plus received additional training. So at this time, they have to complete 16 training modules, if I remember correctly. So we teach them how to, for example, provide effective feedback. We teach them conflict resolution, communication. We teach them how to prepare webinars, training materials. And so this way, they come in not only with the prior experience, but also with this, special knowledge of how to be a good manager, a good coach. And so this way, not only do we get sort of, helpers who help you, but also it's a very, very useful experience, valuable experience for the coaches. And maybe you will become a coach one day. And so this way, so first you participate as a team member, as I said, but now you kind of get to see and manage those teams from sort of behind the scenes. So you see what's going on in them. You talk to the teams. You read their weekly reports. You kind of develop this intuition of what can go wrong in a team and how to deal with that. And so by the end of the time, by the time you're done with your coaching career, so to speak, you will have handled dozens of different cases. You will have delivered all kinds of webinars, developed training modules. You've had multiple discussions with other coaches sharing experience. And so this is the kind of experience the employers really want. So like if you want to impress a future employer, if you tell them you completed something in a team, that's great. But if you can say, I was managing hundreds of teams, I saw what's going on in those teams, I helped them, I provided feedback, I helped them deal with the challenges they have. Now, this is cool. I mean, even some, seasoned managers don't have the opportunity to see, hundreds of international teams and then sort of coach them, mentor them, lead them. And so that's where, for you as students, now this is a valuable resource, because every time you have a question, every time you have a problem, every time you need some help, every time you just need to talk to someone, you have the coach and you can talk to them. But when you become a coach, you get to do all of that. And so that's a line in your resume that makes a huge difference. And so Rafael now will tell you a little bit more about what kind of help they provide and how it works. Sorry for hijacking that, but I thought I wanted to provide this historic overview.
Of course, thank you for sharing. Actually, it's not me that is going to speak about the coaching program. So I asked Jaron, another senior coach, to talk about it. Hello, Jaron.
Yeah,
hi
everyone.
The senior coaches are coaches who were coaches again and again and again. And then we thought, you know what? If Jaron has so much experience being a coach, maybe now he will become a coach for coaches. And maybe he will now coach coaches to be good coaches. So anyway, with so many coaches, Jaron, sorry, on to you.
No worries, Dr. Bas. Thank you. So hello, everyone. By now, you will have known me from the last picnic. My name is Jaron. I'm a senior coach in the X-Culture program, and I'm also the moderator for the Discord and Facebook groups. I will pass it to Nicole.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole. I'm from Canada. I'm also a senior coach. This is my second semester as a senior coach, and I'll be managing the fitness event, which we'll be talking about very soon.
So for our topics today that we'll be covering over on academic coaches, we will cover on coach's role, which is to assist students to solve issues that you may encounter, preparing webinars that we do for the academic track, other roles, which is the roles coaches play outside of our normal roles. And we also will be talking about how our reviews on reports, which coaches help to evaluate reports at the end of the semester.
Okay, so we're going to be going over the main roles of a coach within the X Culture program, and this is really to guide and to assist students. So we've broken it down into two categories, and this is the organizational and personal categories. So as a coach, like I mentioned, our main role is to assist you, to guide you, and to help solve any problems that may occur within the program. If you have any questions, a coach is who you'll go to ask. But ultimately, in the end, the decision is up to the students who are in your coaching, who are in your team. So you don't need to follow the advice of the coaches, but we're there to provide the advice and suggestions when you do have questions. So on the organizational side, if needed, we can help you to establish roles within your teams, establish contact with team members who may be unresponsive, distribute any workload if you feel that there's an unequal distribution of workload and you might be doing more or less work than other teammates, and also help you to find an appropriate means of communicating with your teammates. And on the personal side, if you ever encounter conflict with a team member, have doubts, or in the rare case that there's harassment, bullying, or abuse, a coach can definitely help you to resolve these issues within your team, as well as any problematic matters that may occur.
So coaches as well, we have a report review. So during your practical phase, when you are doing your reports and you feel that, hey, I'm not sure if my report is good enough for the final report and everything, you can kind of you can ask a coach that is given to you to like help review your report. So our role in that is to identify certain key points such as parts that need improvements, unnecessary information and unclear information. And after we identify those parts, we will normally suggest to you how to improve the structure of your report, how to structure the information clearly, or even like tell you what should be added or excluded. But again, as Nicole said earlier, that is all up to your team, whether you want to accept those suggestions or if you don't.
So the next role of a coach is to prepare webinars. So we'll be going over what webinars are and why we prepare them. So a webinar is essentially similar to like what we're in now, is a webinar like a Zoom meeting essentially, where we provide information or some form of training materials that can help you to understand certain topics. So this can be very useful for like academy students such as yourself. If you might have some trouble understanding certain elements of the report you're writing, a lot of the times the webinars focus on content that are related to that, so they can really help you understand. Additionally, coaches can prepare webinars for your teams. So some webinars that are prepared by coaches are just specifically for the teams that they're coaching to help them within the program.
So as coaches, we have other roles as well. So what other roles do coaches have? As other roles, we are timekeepers. So you can invite us into your meetings. So example, we coaches, you have a meeting with your teammates, right? And you want us to help. So we can help you being a timekeeper. We will track the time for you so that you don't go off time, and so that whatever you want to discuss goes smoothly and that you can discuss everything. And we also handle projects. For example, like Leon has a project on, what was her project again? Oh yes, virtual cooking class. So that's a project that we coaches can take on.
The next thing that the coaches will do is evaluate reports. So coaches help to evaluate the reports that you're writing. So one element within the evaluation of your reports is if you ever request for a coach to review your report before submission, they can give you feedback and identify any potential weak points within your report and give you very valuable suggestions that will help you to improve your report before you submit it. And alongside the international business professors, we're also helping to evaluate and score your reports after you submit it and provide feedback, which is even more useful when giving suggestions before you submit it, because we know exactly what someone who's scoring a report is looking for. Furthermore, we also help to identify the better reports that are submitted, so we can help to select the best teams and review the video presentations that you're submitting to select the good ones to do a live presentation during the practical phase.
So thank you, Nicole and Jaron. Now I just present our coaches and senior coaches for this semester. My name is Rafael, and I'm from Brazil. We have Annette from Kenya. Jaron, as he was speaking, from Malaysia. Tejas from India. Leon from South Africa. Nicole from Canada. Emily from the USA. Ania from the Philippines. Nusha from Bangladesh. Pooja from Nepal, and Subigya also from Nepal. And while you guys are taking the theoretical phase, we also have some coaches doing some training. So for the practical phase, we will have more coaches to help you out throughout the semester. Okay. Thank you,
Rafael,
Nicole.
can I also share something related to the previous presentation for people who attended this presentation, like a little trick that most people don't really know? So let me share my screen here for a second, and I'll show you. So since you mentioned feedback, and you mentioned help from coaches, and you mentioned best reports and stuff like that. So most people don't know it, but if you go to the Xculture website, and if you click on other here and scroll to winners, you will get to this page. And so this page lists all of the winners of Xculture competition, like going back like 7 years. And so if you click on the best teams, like let's take, for example, the last semester. So you click on best teams, you will see the list of the best teams, teams that won the competition last semester, and, why they were selected and how they were selected and what countries they come from. But the best part, and this is it's not really a secret, but somehow people don't really know it. You can click here and you can download all of the winning reports for each semester. And then you can open them and you can see what the best report looked like in a given semester. So like, for example, and most of the companies, by the way, participate multiple times. So some of these same companies participate this semester. So if you go here, you can see, like Team 72, for example, worked on the report for Remo. And so these were the members of the team, but then you can actually read their ideas and maybe even, emulate their style, or maybe even borrow some of the ideas and develop them further. And so those of you, I guess most people for some reason don't really know about this page, but those of you who are here today, you know that. So just go to Xculture, other winners, and you will see basically the full list of winners, including their actual full text reports. So just a little trick that might help you write even better reports this semester.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Vaz. Thank you, Nicole and Jaron also. So next topic is the Xculture Academy events. Throughout this semester, we will have some events that are optional, but we really recommend you to join, not only to maybe do a cooking class. It will be presented by a student, so you can register and be the cooker for the event. Also, we have virtual tours, also presented by a student. You can also apply and share, I don't know, your school, your country, your city, anything that you like. We also have for this semester, we have the Gymkhana. It's a challenge in groups, so it's a pilot project. You can also register and play some challenge with in group teams. Also, we have the art event that we showcase your art, so you can, I don't know, share poems, share paintings, everything like that. And also, there is another pilot project for this semester, is the fitness event, that we will have weekly group activities and the social media platforms that you can meet people, make friends, and play some games also. And now I will ask for the leaders of these events to talk a little bit more about it. Okay. So first, Leon, can you please start?
This one's so cool. This is such a good program.
So I'm the host of the cooking class, as Rafael said, along with Ania. And for those of you who are on the Discord channel, you'll know I'm a very big foodie, so I guess it makes sense that I'm in charge of this. So Rafael, if you can go to the next slide, please. So basically, just to give you an overview of how it works, you'll send in your application, and then me and Ania will filter through all the applications and choose our best choices. It's really hard because there's so many amazing dishes, but we try our best. Once you're accepted, then we will sort of have dry runs and just walk you through the process, and then you get to present. So it's a really cool way of showing your culture firstly, sharing amazing recipes, and actually just like getting to know different parts of different countries, because I mean, we're all so different, but yet we have very similar aspects. Well, English failed me there, but it's another way of connecting with the world, because as I was saying, you can find similarities in different cultures you maybe did not know were there. And then finally, it's such a great way to have fun. I think we all are always very hungry afterwards, but it's a really great way to cook along and just get to know more people. And yeah, do you have anything to add on that?
To add, we really can't, it's really hard to choose people, I guess. That's what Leon said. And we actually always have a dry run for this so that if anything goes wrong or if your camera angle. So we really take this seriously because we want the people who watch the webinar to enjoy and to actually learn to cook the food that you are presenting. And that's all from me.
Okay, thank you, Leon. Thank you, Ania. Now, can you please come up, Annette, and talk about the virtual tours?
Hi, everyone. I am the visual person here, so maybe that explains why I am the host for the virtual tours. The Dalai Lama says, once a year, go someplace you've never been. And you know what happens with X Culture? Once in a semester, we take you to 3 different places you've never been. Okay, maybe some of you have been there before, but it is much, much more fun exploring things from all around the world and just love everything from everywhere. So this time around, I'll be doing it with, I'll be hosting the virtual tours with the Nochat and Subigia. You've seen them earlier. And I know you guys are gonna really, really have so much fun. So, or you will ask yourself, what do we do in the virtual tours? A student signs up and they tell us about the place they want to take us to, or they want to show us to showcase. In here, we explore different cultures, history, fun stuff, diversity. We just get to see all around the world from the comfort of our homes, states, places, cities. So you can share your history, traditions, take everyone on an adventure, connect to the world, and have fun while at it. Yes, I can see someone is asking, so they're actually presentations? Yes, there are presentations of some place, of a place you would like to show us. So what happens is that you submit an application, then we evaluate the applications, and then we select a few people, maximum 3, and they present throughout. Okay, we have a schedule where they get a slot to present in the semester. Yes, so I think that's it from about the virtual tours.
Thank you, Annette. So next is the pilot project. Hello, Tejas, can you speak?
So this is something new, right? So we didn't do it last semester.
Yes, this is new.
Oh, yeah, I'm curious, what's this one?
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Tejas Chakrabarti, and this is our pilot project for this semester. It's the X Culture Scavenger Hunt, which is part of the Gymkhana program. So, Rafael, could you just go to the next slide? All right. As you might all know how a scavenger hunt works. So there is a case, and based off of that, there is a mystery that you need to solve. So there's a thief at large, and they've stolen a very, very famous soda recipe. It's your job to find who the thief is. Rafael, could you go to the next slide? And as you can see, these are our suspects. You might be acquainted. In fact, you might be able to see a few of them right now with their cameras on. Could you just move to the next slide? So what is the X Culture Scavenger Hunt? Upon your registration to this event, you will be divided into teams. And you'll be placed in Google Hangout groups. Each week, you will be assigned a new challenge. Upon the completion of your challenge, you will receive a clue about the robber. And like slowly over the course of the weeks, you will get more and more clues. The teams that perform the best or perform the fastest will get better clues. So it's a competition. And after the 4 weeks are over, you have to guess who the robber is based off of the clues that you have gotten. And the team that guesses first is the winner. So that's basically how the program works. And yeah, it's going to be really exciting. And I'm looking forward to having you guys in the program.
Question, can professors participate? Like, I really want to take part. I think who the killer is. I looked at those pictures. So can I participate? Can we form like a professor team and then take you on?
Sure, definitely.
This is a great idea.
So if you guys are interested in participating in any of these 3 events, you guys can register. I just shared the link, okay?
And this is optional, right, Rafael? So if
Yes.
some students are very busy at school, don't really have time, they just want to do the cultural part, so that's fine, right? But if they would like to participate in these add-on activities, they're welcome to, but not required.
That's correct.
One more question, if I may. So those of you who attended the presentation for university students yesterday, we had a lot of questions. So Dr. B mentioned about these programs, and we have a lot of university students who also want to participate in it. So do you limit it only to the academy students, only for the teenagers, or is it also open for the university students?
The presentation we can offer for all the students, but for the students who, I don't know, be the hosters of the event, we will only be to academy.
To academy. So there is some exclusivity, like,
yeah.
So university students will be jealous, but yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, okay. You're organizers, you have the right to decide how to run it.
Okay, so we also have guest speakers throughout the semester. For this semester, we have 2. They are professionals or in their areas. We had social entrepreneurs last semester. We had a director from a multinational. So they will share their experience and how they became what they are. So there will be these events too. And next, we have the art event that's led by Ania. Can you come up, Ania?
Hello. So next slide, Rafael. Oh, do you want me to share? Actually, wait, one moment. Sorry. I will share my slides, I guess. Okay, so I did not know I was going to share my slides, so do not mind my cursor. That is a fish. Okay, so for the art event, can everybody hear me just to make sure?
Yes.
Okay, so for the art event, I am Ania Nang and I'm the lead of it. So what is the art event? The art event is an event wherein we showcase the artworks of our students, and these artworks are submitted via Discord, email, or Facebook. So what counts as an artwork? Everything counts as an artwork. Your song, cover, drama, rehearsal, literary piece, painting, anything, poems. We take literary pieces. We take artworks like traditional digital. We also take performing arts. So if you dance, sing, feel free to send those in as well. Then, so for our weekly prompts, we will be giving out weekly prompts which can help guide you in making your artwork, but you can also submit anything out of the prompt. So I will show some sample prompts. These were some sample prompts from last semester 2021 round 1. And they did not show. I will show the sample prompts in Discord. So just put it out there.
Oh, good, Ania.
Okay, so if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. And my contact information is there. I'm always here for you.
Ania, do you then select like the winners, the best artists, or just simply share and have fun in the process?
It's more of sharing and having fun. And we actually have extra events that we're planning to do this semester, like paint with me sessions and a virtual art tour, like a tour of a painting. Like if you've seen those on Facebook where they have like 360.
Yeah.
And everyone, there's no winner or anything. We do present all the artworks or everything that we can fit in the time limit.
I wonder if we can do some sort of like, we got into this ebook publishing with professors. Maybe at some point, once we have enough art, maybe we can do like an ebook. I'm not sure if it's possible to put 360 and music into an ebook, but I think it's possible, like embedding video and stuff. And maybe we can publish the big Xculture book of art or something like that. I don't know, or maybe do some sort of like a virtual gallery, exhibition or something. So, because you've accumulated quite a lot of art there, and I'm sure over years there will be even more.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, actually. I wouldn't mind to have some Xculture museum to showcase.
Oh yeah, Xculture Museum. Well, talking about Xculture Museum, so you know that I do have sort of like an Xculture, not a museum, a closet, so to speak. So all these symposia that we have, all the things, I collect the memorabilia, like all those t-shirts and cups and pens and whatever else, happens at the event. Like, for example, that Emily's sweatshirt, I keep that in my museum. And maybe, one of the exhibits could be like the Xculture students' art. And especially if we keep it virtual in some way, we can have those, different forms of art, not just paintings. And maybe even at some point have like an auction, and I don't know, can we auction out some of those items? And, I don't know if it's possible, but why not? Maybe some of that art would be, auctionable, and, we raise millions of dollars, something like that. Who knows? So.
Okay, so let's continue if we don't mess up the time. So Nicole, can you come up and talk about our other pilot project for this semester?
Yeah, so hi everyone again. So this semester, something new that we're starting is Xculture Athletics. So this is for all of our athletes or budding athletes or anyone who's just simply interested in sports or anything related to athletics. So what we want to do this semester through the athletic program is have an opportunity to join a community of other athletes all over the world. And we'll do this through workshops. So if you know how to teach any sports that can be run online. So for example, like maybe fitness, karate, dance, things like that. We'll be doing live workshops together. Also having a run club. So we're looking into a few applications such as Adidas Run Club. So you can climb on a leaderboard, track your steps and mileage and running. And the final thing is learning about different sports from other countries. So really excited to pilot this program this year and learn a lot more about the different athletes within the Xculture community.
This is so cool. There is a similar event going on or program going for the Academy of International Business Professors, including the running. And so we post our running time, and then, people kind of compete who's going to run more. And so I don't know. I mean, I would like to enroll in your club. So at least in the running competition. So I bet I will run more than some of those teenagers, even though they're younger and stronger. So we'll see. We'll see.
So now we'll talk about the social media platforms that you guys were asking. So we have the Discord channel and also the Facebook group. So you guys can join and start to talk to future colleagues and peers. And I will share the link in the chat so you guys can join. Can you speak about it too, Jaron?
Yeah, just give me a moment. Let me share the link to everyone. So yeah, hey everyone. Yeah. I'm in charge of the Discord and Facebook groups. I'm actually the main moderator for it. So our server groups are designed so that you all can interact with one another and have fun. Most of the events, like the art event, is being held on Discord itself. And possibly the sports event, maybe we are not sure yet. But yeah, so our Discord server is, our Discord and Facebook, I pasted the link. You can join. Facebook is only for those below 17 and below. And for Discord, it's open to all ages. So all of you can join Discord. But please do remember, once you join, follow our rules and yeah, just have fun throughout the server as well.
Okay, Jaron, thank you. So next, let me check the time. We were supposed to have a Kahoot questions, a trivia game, but maybe it's better for you, Dr. Vaz, to do the Xculture orientation first. So If we have time, we do the trivia again.
And if somebody could help me, I see we have quite a few questions related to sort of technical stuff. If you guys maybe can select the most interesting questions or maybe most important. So I'll provide a quick overview in general, but then if you can also direct those questions to me, so to make sure that we don't miss anything. But briefly, it's a pretty simple process, so to speak. So on Monday, the program starts, and for you, the academy students, so we have the university track, as you know, and then the academy track, that's for the non-university students. So for you guys, you will have to complete some training first. So there is a resource page that you need to go to, and you will get the link in the email, so to that page. And so you will have training materials for each week. And so there will be 4 weeks for sort of big themes or topics that we need to cover, areas that we need to cover. The first week, it will be all about the project itself. So you will learn more about its culture. You will learn about, where to find the deadlines, how to submit your work, how the teams are formed, what are the elements of the program. So you basically need to, so you know how it operates in terms of the logistics of the program. Then the next week, it will be about working with people from different countries. So you will receive several training modules on communication with international teams, scheduling meetings, conflict resolution, known challenges of working in international teams, and then based on our research, the best strategies to deal with those challenges. And so there will be a test at the end of each week. And so the second week, the questions will be more about this, what are the different types of team members that perhaps may give you trouble, and what do you do about that? How do you schedule the meetings or things like that? Then the third week will be all about the technical side. So basically online collaboration and communication tools. Before COVID, we had to provide a lot of that training because most people didn't really know how to use Zoom or how to use Google Docs. Now it seems like at least, those who have jobs, sort of many companies moved to the virtual environment. And so people had to learn how to use Zoom, Skype, Doodle, Dropbox, Google Docs, and things like that. But again, just to make sure that all of you are prepared, we will provide training in those tools. And by the way, thank you so much, Leon and Raphael, who developed that training module. So they will have a nice guide, with pictures and step-by-step how to use each of those tools, from simple things like Doodle, designed to schedule meetings for people in different time zones, to more sophisticated things like Slack, like Dropbox, like Zoom, and things like that. And so again, and there will be a test. So we want to make sure that you know how to use those tools. Your teams are, or your team is allowed to use any communication tool you want. If you want to stick only with email, you can. If you want to also use Zoom, great. If you want to try something more complicated like Slack maybe, or some other project management tools, even better. But we want you to know what tools are available and how to operate them so that you can try them as well. And we deliberately, on that one, we deliberately do not require that you use the Xculture platform. We could have created a sort of a meeting place, like Discord or Slack of Xculture's own, where you would be sort of logging in and communicating with your team. We didn't want to do that because we want you to learn the tools that the rest of the world is using: Dropbox, Google Docs, Slack, Trello, Zoom, so that after Xculture is over, you can continue using those tools for school, for work, maybe teach your friends, teach your colleagues, because these are free tools available out there and you need to know how to use them. And finally, the last week, the fourth week, we will teach you the basics of international business. Again, most of the university students, like my students who participate in Xculture this semester, all those many 160, 70, 80 universities, all of those students are in international business, cross-cultural management courses. So they receive training from professors. And so they know, for example, what are the different international trade theories are. What are the different international market entry modes? What are the challenges of international marketing, international HR, international logistics? So they get that training in the course. Most of you don't have the training and the challenges you will be working on. It would be beneficial if you sort of knew the basics of international business. And so we developed sort of like a crash course where we took a whole semester of a standard university business, international business course, and condensed it to basically 1 week, where you will get the essence and some of the basic terminology and theories and concepts of international business. And again, there will be a test. We want to make sure that you know some of those basics so that you're prepared to work on those challenges. Now, at the end of each week, there will be a test. And so to us both, we pay attention to how many questions you answer correctly. But I'll be honest with you, an even more important thing for me is, are you actually taking those tests? Because X-Culture, as I said, it's not only about your ideas, it's also about your ability to work in a team and deliver consistently, deliver your results week after week after week. And so our logic is that if you cannot complete the 4 weekly tests, if you miss them, if you forget about them, if you miss the deadline, if you get busy with other things, that's where we get a little nervous. We think, well, will the student be also showing up for the team meetings? Will the student be also doing the research necessary for, completing the consulting project? So I pay even a bigger attention, more attention to the actual participation. Is the student submitting the tests week after week on time and fully? So if you skip some questions or if you skip some tests, that's a big signal for me that maybe the student is not quite ready. Additionally, all of the training is obviously in English. And so again, that's sort of our test of your ability to comprehend materials in English and, do the test. Your team will expect you to communicate in English. I mean, we also thought about creating like a French and Spanish versions, but most of the students obviously, don't speak those languages. And these days, English is the sort of language of the global business. So we use English. And so by completing those tests, you not only tell us that you know the theories of international business or how to use Dropbox, but you also tell us that you're disciplined, you have the necessary motivation, self drive, and as well as you can work with text in English. And then obviously you will receive all of those test links by email. And again, that big reason why we use email, some people can say, oh, that's outdated. Why don't you use like Canvas or maybe Blackboard where I just log in and I do my test? The reason for that is that you will communicate with your team primarily by email. And again, by sending all of the correspondence to you by email, we also test if your email works, if you know how to use it. And you would be surprised how many people either don't have an email address or they have one and never check the email account, or sometimes the email is just, has like 10,000 messages and exceeded the limit. So we used to have that problem where people give us the email address. We try to reach them and nothing works. So here again, we will have 4 weeks when you will receive the link by email. And as long as you complete the tests, it tells us that at the very least, you check your email account and everything is working, so that when your team is trying to reach you, there will be a way to do it. Again, once the project starts, I guess you can move to Discord for communication, or maybe Facebook, or maybe you will have regular meetings in Zoom. But we want to make sure that there is one reliable channel, which is email, for your team to communicate with you if something else goes wrong. And so then, yes, as long as you complete all 4 tests, we will place you on the team. Several people asked about payments, and so we don't want you to pay for the program until you have completed all 4 tests. The reason for that is we're not after your money. So we're not really making any money on this program. So we do it because we believe that the young people like you need to learn how to do international business, how to work with people from different cultures. And so we don't want you to pay and then not participate. So it's not the kind of a program where we want you to pay and then whatever happens, happens. No, it's a program that is done in teams. And we only want you if you show us that you can. If you can't, even if you pay, we don't want you. So we don't want people like that in the program. But if you complete all 4 tests, if you show us that you are ready, that you can sustain that level of performance over an extended period of time, that's when we enroll you officially. And so after you have completed all 4 tests, we will send you an official acceptance letter, and we will say you are done. You can go ahead and pay your participation fee, and you will be placed on the team on October the 4th. So some students will send those acceptance letters a little early, like usually after test 3, we will have students who will get a perfect 100 on each week's test, who will have completed all of those tests on time. So at that time, we know that, yeah, this student probably will do fine on the last test. So some of you, the best of the best, will get those acceptance letters even a little earlier. So this way, you know that as long as you complete the last test, you are in, everything's fine, you can start preparing for the project. Then, so it will be Monday, October the 4th, when you will receive your team assignment. So on that day, probably in the morning, a few professors will get together. We will look at your results. We will kind of have the final vote. So John Smith, pass. Sarah Connor, pass. I don't know, Billy Bob. Yeah, you know what? One of the tests was not high enough. Maybe Billy Bob will have to wait until the next semester. So we want you to pass all 4 tests with 80 or higher results. If you fail on one, usually we give you another chance. So we will be able, or sometimes, it's like, it seems like the student is really trying hard and trying best, his or her best. We will allow you to retake one of the tests, and you will get an email saying that you kind of did well, but we're still not 100% sure. Could you retake this test? And so then as long as you do, you will be placed on the team. We'll have a little kind of break between the theory phase and the practical phase. But yes, most of you will probably do well. Historically, most people do well. The ones who don't do well are not the ones who try and fail. We always have some people who spend all this time on registrations, applications. You all completed the application forms. It's a lengthy form, it has a lot of questions. And so we have some people who complete the form, but then basically never show up for the training. So I don't know, maybe the parents enrolled the kid and the kid is not interested, or maybe the person got busy at school or whatever else. So usually those are the ones who sort of fail. As long as you try, I imagine that all of you, or I know most of you are very smart people, so you will not have a problem with the test itself. It's more that, as I said, motivation and discipline, that's what sort of takes to succeed in this program. And so on Monday, October the 4th, you will receive another email with the names of your team members, all 7 or whatever number of people you have on your team. So some may have only 6, some may have as many as 8, but usually we shoot for about 7 total. And yeah, you will have, team member 1, country, I don't know, India, email address. Another team member, Germany, email address, maybe Ghana, email address, Canada, email address, Brazil, email address, the United States, email address. And so once you have that list, you will reach out to your team via email for the first time. So you will say, my name is, for example, I see here, there's a question from Kevin. So my name is Kevin. I'm in, I don't know, the United States. I'm 16 years old, or whatever your age is. And by the way, we do match teams by age. So pretty much all your team will be same age, maybe plus or minus 1 year. And yeah, so hi guys, let's start working. And so you will have, some introductory period where you just get together, introduce yourselves, decide how you want to communicate. But then once you are on teams, you will be sort of transferred into the university track. So from that point on, you are doing exactly the same thing that the university students are doing. You are using the same resources. You're using the same university resource page, not the academy resource page. And for all means and purposes, we treat you as university students. You will still be in teams with your own sort of peers of the same age. So you will be, if you are 16, you will be on a team with other 16-year-olds. But other than that, you will be attending the same webinars that the university students are attending. You're working on the same challenges that the university students are working. You're basically doing exactly the same thing that the university students are doing. And so from that point on, your first task will be to get to know each other, establish contact, make sure that all of the people are communicating. And then from that point on, or next one will be to select the client organization. And I can show you here just as a second. So if you go to the Xculture website, I actually have it here. So your university resource page will be 2021-8. So that's once you are in, once you're accepted, that's where you will find all of the university student resources. And so here on the page, you will see the list of the client companies. And so as you can see, so we have a bunch of companies. We have one company that makes some industrial equipment. This one is an education company. This one makes bags and backpacks. Nova Brink is a toy maker from Brazil, so they make toys. Radico, it's a company that makes hair treatment products, basically for hair, like hair colors. From India, Voyager Study Abroad, it's an American company that organizes international tours. Wheelstair, that's a company that makes attachments for wheelchairs so that they can go like up and down stairs and on all kinds of terrain. And we will be adding a couple more companies. There is another one from Singapore that just joined, and there is another one from Norway that also just joined. And so your first task as a team will be to select one company. And so you will click here on the link, and you will see the list, description of the company. So I opened here, for example, Wheelstair. So it's a company from Poland, and they make, as I said, kind of attachments for wheelchairs that allow these wheelchairs, if you're handicapped or, if a person needs to use a wheelchair, the challenge always is going up and down the stairs. And so this attachment allows the wheelchair to climb basically any terrain. And so I think there is a picture, that like this is the early prototype. So some sort of a company made one like this, but obviously, today they look a little different. And so the Wheelstair prototype looks, I think I have a picture here. Yeah, looks like this. So it's, much more slick, much more, and it attaches to just about any wheelchair. And so you will look at each of these challenges, and then you will see, and like, okay, should we choose this one? Maybe we want to come up with good ideas for this Wheelstair company, or maybe we have some interesting ideas for the company that makes these hair treatment products, or maybe we have some great ideas for the toy makers, or maybe I have some interesting ideas for the company that makes backpacks, and so on and so on. And then once you have selected the company, here in the challenge instructions, you will see what kind of help they need. And so you will see like this company here, for example, so let me go question by question. So these guys here, they want you to conduct a competition analysis. So basically analyze the industry, see who else is making a similar product, who are the competitors for this company, and then based on your analysis, to recommend the best new market. And then once you know where you think the company can have a good, successful sort of market expansion, they ask you to come up with interesting marketing and promotion ideas. So they want you to come up with some, interesting slogans, decide how you would advertise the product, what the advertisement would look like, maybe some ideas, and they provide some interesting ideas of videos that they already use for advertisement, but maybe you can come up with even better ideas. And then they want some business development help. So they will be asking you for some, like for example, pricing. How should we, how much our product should cost? And should we charge like a fixed one-time price, or maybe should it be some sort of financing, or maybe some sort of a subscription model, or maybe something else? And so you will look at each of these challenges, and then you decide which one your team wants to work on. Now, importantly, here on the resource page, you can also find the list of webinars. And so each company that participates in the project, they will have a webinar. Most of them, there will be a few next week, and then we will do another round in October. So you can attend them already if you want. You don't have to wait until October when you're placed on the team. And so here the company founders or CEOs or managers will talk to you and tell about the company, will show the product, will explain their current business model, and then probably there will be a lot of questions from you. They will answer them. Some companies have regular webinars. Some companies literally say, like, every week on Wednesday, for example, 7 to 8 p.m., I will be online. You can use this link to connect with me, ask your questions. Other companies do just 1 or 2 webinars where they meet with a large group, but you will have an opportunity to talk to the company founders, company managers. And what happens in many cases, by the way, some students do such a good job, they impress the company so much that in many cases, the companies actually offer jobs to students, mostly for university students, kind of the older ones. But, if you do a good job, if you show them that you come up with great ideas, or maybe that you can, find contracts in your country, we see that every semester where the company says, this is a very interesting report. Can you introduce me to the student who wrote it? Or maybe, this student actually got us a couple of contracts in his country. Maybe we want to hire the student to set up an office and be our representative there. So it happens all the time. Obviously, you don't want to participate in Xculture for a job. That's not something we can guarantee. And out of 1,000 students, obviously, most of them don't get job offers, but some do. And so maybe you will be one of those few students who will have done a great job, and the company will be like, okay, well, maybe we want to hire Kevin, or maybe we want to hire Aisha, or whatever the name's Alvin here. And so do your best, and you never know where it might lead you. Maybe you will come up with an idea that will lead to your own business. Those of you who were in Canada, you remember we had there a group of Xculture students who participated in Xculture, and then they kind of kept working on the idea they had, and they organized a company around that idea. And so one of them was from Ukraine, Yev, the other one was Alex from Ghana, Jasmine was from the United States, and I think there was a fourth one. And so they started a company together as, you know, an X-Culture team. And so they wanted to meet as a sort of, you know, team of founders. And so they, because they're in different countries, they were looking for a place to meet. And then they thought, hey, maybe we should just go to the X-Culture Symposium in Canada and have a meeting there. And so we were so impressed that we invited them to speak to the whole group, and they shared about their company. So it was like some sort of an app for, you know, people meeting there one another. But what I mean here is that, yeah, some of these ideas may be further developed and maybe even kind of spun into separate, completely new companies. So, but yeah, and then so each week, as you will be on Teams, each week there will be what we call a progress survey. So again, every like Tuesday or Wednesday, you will get an email with a link to your weekly progress survey. And you will have until the end of the day on Sunday to complete that survey. A very simple thing. So it will ask you, you know, to report the progress your team is making. Are you answering the questions? Are you finding the information you need? Tell us what you're thinking so far. Maybe we can provide feedback. But there will be also a bunch of questions about how your team is doing. Any problems, any conflicts? Is everyone communicating? We will ask you to provide the peer evaluations. You know, evaluate each of your team members. Are they doing a good job? And so, and then also describe in your own words what's going on. And so the coaches, so Jaren was talking about the coaching program. So the coaches will read those comments, will look at those numbers. And usually when we see a problem, like maybe somebody's peer evaluations are too low, or maybe in your comments, you say that there is some sort of a, I don't know, maybe a conflict or maybe some issue that you cannot resolve. So a coach normally will reach out to you and say, hey guys, it seems like you may need my help. Let me know if you do. Or maybe, you know, you will specifically, there will be also an opportunity to request coaching help. And maybe you'll say, okay, you know, here is my report so far. Can a coach take a look at it and maybe provide some feedback? So we can provide that help as well. And so, yeah, as long as you complete those weekly surveys, we know that you're doing well. We know that your team is doing well, but if not, again, help will be available. And then, yes, at the end, you submit your reports, and each of those reports will be evaluated usually by about 5 to 7 experts, mostly professors, but also company representatives and also possibly coaches. And so based on the evaluations, we will put everything together, and that's where we will select the best teams. Now you will also do a video presentation. And so you will record your presentation first, and then the best presenters will actually present live to the company. And in the end, you will receive recommendation letters and certificates. This is the old certificate design, so now it looks a little bit different for a few years. I just have some leftovers from the past years, but you will get those sort of by default. And recommendation letters, we used to wait until you ask us to provide a recommendation letter. But most of you then at some point will be applying for jobs, or maybe going to colleges, or applying for stipends, or maybe applying for I don't know, investment in your business. And so it's kind of cheaper for us to give a recommendation letter to each one of you sort of in one big wave than to respond to hundreds of requests one by one. And so at the end, you will get your performance evaluations, your recommendation letter, and your certificate. And so this way you have all the documents once you're done. And then a little bit later, also, we will announce the winners, because it takes a few weeks to read all those. We will have over 1,000 teams total. So it's a very large group, so it takes time. And then obviously run the presentations and do the closing, you know, events and stuff. But then sometime probably like end of December, that's where the professors and the senior coaches will get together and will decide whom to invite to the coaching program. And if at that time the world gets back to normal and we can travel again, we will also start sending out the invitations to the X-Culture Symposium for the best students. And so at that time, you will see if you want to participate in the symposium or the coaching program. And if so, you can apply. And it's too early to worry about that, but just telling you that that's basically kind of the final steps of this, you know, virtual program that you will be involved in. So that's briefly sort of how it goes. And I see we have a lot of questions. So I'm not sure if someone from the coaching team, if you guys can maybe select the most sort of representative questions that I did not answer. And so we will go with that.
Sorry, Dr. Bas. Just a quick information for everyone. For the Facebook group, I understand that some of you say it's pending. Yes, you have to wait because we manually allow you in due to certain rules that we have set. So don't worry, we should be allowing you in either this week or next week or so, since we screen through nearly about how many ever there is right here, right now.
Yeah. So there is a question where we can find information about all the deadlines and everything. So let me show you here again, share my screen one more time. You will be getting an email probably tomorrow with a proper welcome and everything, and that email will contain a link to the Academy resource page. So this is the address and it's password protected. So it's open on my computer, but you will need to enter the password, which you will have in that email. And so here, as you will see, you have training materials for each of the weeks. So it will be a combination of videos and some PDF stuff. Like for the first week, it's all about Xculture. And so you have here some training materials. And again, as we said, we have pre-college teens, students, but we also have professionals. And so we have a little bit more training for professionals. We expect a little bit more of them. They're older, obviously, and so you have some training materials there. And then we also, like in full disclosure, we also share with you some materials related to the, like what professors see. And so this way you would have that stuff as well. And so so for week 1, the resources are there. And then for week 2, the resources will be posted the week after, and then week after. And all you do, just click and you watch the video, for example, if there is a short video. And then if there is a PDF file, you click and it opens the PDF file and you read it. And so some of that will be a little longer, so you kind of read and you learn. And then in that same email, it will contain a link to the test. And so you just click on that link, it takes you to the test, and you take the test. The tests are not timed. You can take as much time as you want. And in fact, if I were you, what I would do is I would kind of open the test. And then as I read the test, I would look for, as I see the test questions, I would look for the answers in the training module. In most of the cases, it sort of goes, hand in hand. Like, there will be a question about one video. There will be a question about some of the stuff that you see here in the training module. And so you read the question, you find the answer, and you move on. But you obviously can also just simply watch all the videos and read everything first, and then presumably you know all of the answers, and then you do the test. But if you run into problems, like if one of the questions you're not sure about the answer, you can obviously always go back to the training materials and review them. And yeah, so you will get that link, you will get the password, and you will get the test link. And so you just go through those week by week, nothing super difficult there. I don't know, let me see if tell us about the stipends. So somebody is asking here. So there are several different stipends, throughout your life with Xculture. So one, and Raphael, remind me if I'm correct. So the fee for the whole program, for the whole 1 semester, 4 months or 5 months program is at this time $256, all right? And so we do recognize that $256 for this loan, that's nothing. That's like, I don't know, like what is it, like $30 per week or so, per month or something like that, given the length of the project, or $40. So we know that for most people, that's not much at all. But we do recognize that for some students, it could be a lot. If you come maybe from a country where the income is lower, or maybe even if you come from a rich country like the United States, but maybe your family is, not doing very, not well off, we recognize that some people may not be able to afford that fee. And so we want everyone to be able to participate as long as you sort of have everything it takes, here and here. We don't want you to be not able to participate just because of the money. And so we allow you to apply for the stipends, and in your applications, you indicated, or you had the chance to apply for the stipends. And so it's basically need-based. So it's not so much merit-based, it's need-based. If you need it, we will look at it and maybe offer it to you. Although all stipends come with sort of like merit condition. So you can get the stipend and keep it only if you show good performance. So even if you are sort of pre-approved for the stipend at the beginning, it's conditional upon your good performance. So you have to show very good results to keep that stipend, and most students do. But again, if you are barely meeting the expectations, we may have to take that stipend away because it's only for the best students. Now the stipends are partial, so if you get the stipend, you still have to pay $45. So that's like less than $10 per month of the program. And we've been on it kind of back and forth a lot. Should we offer full stipends or not? And eventually we decided that
sorry,
no.
Sorry, Dr. Abbas, it
Yes.
is $56.
Oh, 56, 56. My apology. Yeah, it's $200 stipend and you still pay 56. You're right, correctly. My apology. And the reason for that is that there are two very important reasons. So that we decided that everybody has to pay something. One sort of maybe not super important for you, but it is kind of important for us. Running a program like this takes a lot of resources. I mean, all these people here, they volunteer their time, but we would like to be able to offer at least some sort of like a little, like honorarium at the end, a little something. Second, there are a lot of, IT resources, legal help, accounting, things that go into this program. So we need to pay for that. And so obviously we have to charge something because we don't have big grants. We are not getting any government support. So we basically rely on our own time and resources. And obviously some of that essentially needs, like we need to be able to buy this paper, for example, to print the certificates. So all of these things obviously do require some resources. But even more importantly, this stipend becomes almost like a selection tool of sorts. Again, if we were selling maybe, I don't know, like a book or maybe some sort of an online course, we could say that, as long as you pay, we don't care what happens next. And so you pay, here is the book, and if you read it or not, we don't care. But Xculture, it's a team-based experience. And so we want only students who are kind of serious about that. And so we had a few semesters when we tested the model where some students don't pay and some students pay. And we noticed that those students who don't pay, they don't seem to sort of value the project enough. So some people just enroll, well, if I can get it for free, maybe I'll enroll and I see what happens. If I don't like it, I'll just drop out. Others think, well, I like it, but I'm not sure if I want to do it this semester. Maybe I'll do it next semester. And so as a result, there was not much both appreciation and recognition of value. So people value only what they sort of pay for. But at the same time, also, there was a little bit less commitment, so to speak. And so we had some students who would enroll, but then drop out, but then they say, oh, maybe I can still participate. So that's not only more work for us logistically, but if one person drops out from the team, the whole team suffers. And so we decided that we will keep some minimal payment that even people from the poorest countries can afford, both to help us manage the program, gather some resources managing the program, but also as a test of your interest. I mean, if you are really interested, it seems like everybody should be able to find $56 for half a year program. But if you are not interested enough to find that, maybe we don't want those people in the program to begin with. And so therefore the stipends are available for those who really need them. They do require that you maintain a certain level of performance to keep them. But yes, everybody pays, if only a nominal fee, again, both to help us fund the program, but also as a test of your sort of interest and commitment. And if you think it's not worth your $56, well, maybe that's not really a program that you're interested enough in. So
Hello,
this is sort of what we did.
Sorry to interrupt. We will need to end the meeting as we have another webinar to present for the coaching program.
Fair enough. So yeah.
I just want to.
Are there any other burning questions about the process that I need to answer?
I don't think so, but we will also have a Q&A session next week. So if you guys have any questions, if you have any questions, we will have 30 to 1 hour for next session to answer all the questions that you have. Okay.
Very good. Very good. And I see we have a bunch of questions here. So as we are closing the remarks, I'll maybe type the answers. So I see some good questions that we will answer that way. And then you'll have a Q&A next week. So you'll be able to ask even more questions.
Okay. So that's it, guys. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome to Xculture family and welcome to our program. I hope you have a great semester. And as a reminder, next week at the same time, 9 a.m. East, we will have a Q&A session. So you have any question or doubts, feel free to join and ask us, okay?
Yeah. And a huge thank you to all of you organizers of the event. As you can see, even though we have hundreds of professors and we could have had dozens of professors here, what I love most about the Xculture family, as Rafael pointed out, is that our students are not just students. I mean, they are partners. They are, admins, managers. And so I'm so proud of you guys that, you kind of go beyond simply being consumers. And you are essentially here are creators, managers, developers, co-founders. So that's what really, that's what we want. And I truly hope that all those 100 or whatever of you here in the audience, maybe next year, some of you will be here on the screen and you will be offering these new programs and running the show, so to speak. So that's a good experience to have. If I could go back in time, I would pay a lot of money to be one of you guys. That's the kind of experience I started gaining only in my 20s, if not 30s. And so you're so way ahead of me. I'm kind of glad that I don't have to compete for jobs with you, because you would get the job and I would be left behind. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.